Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Arc Basics, a show where we break down the ABCs of how to start an arc, how to accomplish things, how to achieve things, how to be the best you possibly can be. That's right, we're going with the full ABCs of arc. A for arc, B for basic, C for, well, whatever you want it to be. C can be anything. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Arc Basics. I'm Phlinger Phoo, and today we're going to be discussing what I consider to be some of the best base locations on Scorched Earth. Now, Scorched Earth was the very first expansion released for Ark Survival Evolved many years ago. Now, a lot of stuff has happened to this map over the years. A lot of different changes. A lot of things have gone untouched, which is kind of cool. When I decided to set out to set aside a bunch of the best base locations for this map, I took a lot of things into consideration. And the main thing I took into consideration is how close to water is it? How easily of a source of water does it have that you can quickly tap into and either have, infinite water with a pool, or have just a bunch of, smaller bits of water with water wells and such like that. Also, another thing I took into consideration is its proximity to good resources like obsidian, metal, crystal, silica pearls, all sorts of ingredients that you're going to need for being able to craft whatever you need. Also, another thing I took into consideration is the wind level, because wind is definitely a thing that you need to consider when building a base on Scorched Earth, because wind is the only reliable source of power that you have. You do have generators that you can use, but they're constantly taking damage if you use them. That way there, wind power is generally the preferred power when it comes to Scorched Earth, because it is a massive desert. It is kind of vibrant in life, yet not, because it is a massive desert. Alright, so hey, that's enough talking from me about the opening here, and let's jump right into it. Alright, now it's hard to talk about best base locations on Scorched Earth without mentioning probably one of the most early beginner-friendly base locations that you can possibly get. This place, yeah, you do have to deal with some capros, you do have to deal with a few raptors coming in, but then again, on Scorched Earth, you always have to deal with raptors. You always have to deal, if you're anywhere close to water, you always have to deal with capros, which is generally a thing that you just kind of prepare for and you just accept. But if you're looking for a place that has metal, it's got wood, it's got berries, it's got thatch, it's got silica pearls, it's got fresh flowing water, it's this little canyon right along here at the very southeast part of the map. Now, if you look down over towards in the distance, you can see the little three spikes of the rocks jutting up, and that designates the start of the canyon. This right here, this little bit right along here, especially up here on the, see, and there's a raptor right there. I've already killed a couple capros down there. But yeah, all the way through, just this very early section, and especially right here on the map, this is a very good beginner location, because the temperature, it's a lot cooler down here in the cavern, so where you don't have to worry too much about the excess heat. And then if it gets a little too hot, you can always submerge yourself in the water until the heat goes away. But you also are kind of sheltered from sandstorms. You're sheltered from a bunch of the different stuff that goes up, and you never have to worry about wild wyverns down here. I've never had that problem at all. I mean, your mileage may vary, but yeah. All right, so hey, to start it off, this spot right here, if you're looking for a quick and early spot to actually get a nice foothold on Scorched Earth, this is the spot I would absolutely recommend. There are a couple other spots that are good, but this right here, in my opinion, is the best for the beginner bases. Alright, speaking of water and free-flowing and such, this spot right here, right around the green obelisk, this is another really good spot. Now, not only is this spot, you do have to deal with the heat a little bit more often than you do over in the canyon, and also the silica pearls are not as easily available here as they are over there. But there's plenty of metal, there's plenty of resources, plus also you have access to this little mountain right up here, right where the arrow's pointing on the map, and that is a fantastic source of thylacoleos to help you get an early foothold on on Scorched Earth, because you can get a saddle for them at level 51, and from then on, once you have a thylacoleo, you can get another thylacoleo, you can breed them, and then you can really set yourself up for success on this map. But getting a nice foothold here is a little bit harder than in the canyon, but it's also a very, very good spot. Alright, now we're going with a little bit more advanced spot. Then again, this is not that much more advanced. It's because this spot right here, it does have wolves, it does have terror birds that spawn on it, but once you clear that out and you start building a few things around it, you're going to notice that it is easily segmented, because here, let me show you. You have to worry about very little stuff. Now, if you want to build, if you're the type of person that likes to build a big giant wall around your base, but you really don't enjoy those, then this is kind of the one for you, because all you have to do, there's only 2 choke points to come in, one right here, one on the other side, and then there's water that you can pipe up from down below, so you have the best of both worlds. Nobody's gonna mess with you, nobody's going to harass you while you're busy breeding your dinos, nobody's going to basically come in and make you have a bad day. This is a really good spot. Plus, there's so much water around here that it's actually a very good spot. And this is located right here on the map, a little bit further down the canyon than the best beginner spot that I mentioned before, but it is also another really good spot. You do have to deal with the sun sometimes because it does get a little bit hotter here, but also with it being next to the canyon, it is a little bit a little bit cooler generally during the day, which is one of those things that you really want. There's a lot of different things that are working on Scorched Earth to really make you have a bad day, and your goal is to find a spot that mitigates those problems. So, yeah. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, and once again, we're going with another canyon spot. This spot, the canyon that cuts through the middle of Scorched Earth, it is a fantastic spot for bases. Now, we're up at the very north section. Now, this area right here, it's really, really good. Normally, I would suggest, you know, building underneath one of these things because you're in the shade and such, but also you end up having to have, having to worry about things falling off the top and then coming and getting you. But if you build on these little land bridges that are built in between the canyon, it's very, very easy to separate yourself from the wild dinos and then basically just live in peace until you want to traverse out into the wild and then go pick a fight with everything. So yeah, these places right here, once again, let me show it on the map, fantastic spots for bases. Also down here at the edge, plus also depending on how good your piping skill is, you can run pipes all the way down from up there to up here. All it takes is a Lamantria, maybe a Tapejara, and you're able to run your pipes. It is very cool. Alright, now on to the next one. Alright, now we're at a little bit more of an advanced base. Now, this is the Blue Obelisk. The Blue Obelisk, it is pretty good, but it is more of a challenge because there is a lot of dangerous things around here. Now, if you want to build a base here, I would definitely recommend putting up a wall around so where you can live in peace. But also, with the proximity to the Blue Obelisk and being able to upload, transfer, all sorts of different things, it is quite alluring, and there is a lot of really cool stuff. Plus, also, there's water, there's metal, there's all sorts of dinosaurs, so many tames of opportunity in this area that it's hard to pass up. But also be very, very careful when you're building next to this cliff, because a lot of things will come down and harass you. Things will jump off the cliff, you'll get Argents that come down, every once in a while you'll get a Wyvern that decides it wants to pick a fight, but then also every once in a while you'll find high-level Ankies just walking by the area. You'll find high-level Doedicruses, you'll find all sorts of cool stuff. Plus also you'll just every once in a while come out of your front door and see a high-level Tapejara that's just chilling out and is like, oh, hey, I'm begging for you. Please come tame me. This is a really good spot, and this is located right up here on the map. All right, now let's go talk about another spot. And also, while we're heading over to the next spot, I wanted to talk a little bit about the mesas here on the map. Now, there are some really what do seem kind of tempting areas that, you know, the mesas is what I'm talking about, is the big rocks that are jutting up from in the distance. Those generally are, I mean, they do from the moment when you see them go, oh, hey, that'd be a cool base spot, but they're really not that great, at least most of them, because generally it does get very, very hot around the mesas, and that's one of the things that you want to watch out for, is building a base in a spot where you have to when there's no weather event going on, that you can, you know, you go out, you do your thing for 15, 20, 30 minutes until the weather event starts, and then all of a sudden, you're locked inside of your base for the next 5 minutes while the weather event's going. So, yeah, in order to avoid that, I would generally recommend not building next to the mesas. I mean, they are pretty good, and is a lot of resources, but I'd rather build a base that's a little bit safer in one spot, and then fly over there and have little adventures over there. That's my preferred method of play, just because I don't like the, you know, having to put my gameplay on hold for minutes on end while something's going on. I'd rather just keep going during the super event and not have to worry about it, like down in the canyon. It's really good spots. All right, now we're down over at the Red Obelisk. Now, the Red Obelisk is located way over here, down in the southwestern area. Now, when I say this area is a bit more advanced, it's kind of not as much as the blue. The Red Obelisk is a little bit safer. It does seem like, you know, with the high cliffs, the UDs all around, all sorts of capros in the water and such like that, you would think that it would be a much harder place to build or a harder place to survive. It's really not. It's actually quite a bit easier, especially this little platform right here. You can pipe up water from down below, and then you can set up a few things around you where it's really not going to impede your gameplay all that much. This is actually a really, really good spot. It's more of a little bit more of an advanced base area, but not by much. You do have the occasional Argent that comes down. Once in a while, you'll have a UD come down, but if you keep those kind of culled, and then, or if you know how to work the spawns, so where you can just kill all the bad stuff, and then let the other stuff spawn, and like Tapajara spawn in their place, you're not going to be bugged at all by anything. So yeah, it's a really good base spot. It's not as an advanced base spot as the Blue Obelisk, but the Red Obelisk is a very rewarding place. Plus, there is a lot of stuff over there that you can easily get. All right, now we're going to be talking about some of the high wind places, which are my generally preferred places to build because I like to have power on my bases. Now, a lot of the places that I mentioned before, they have a lower wind. So while they are safer, they are cooler, they are all sorts of, you know, they've got all sorts of resources and stuff, there are better places that have all of the best of the both worlds. So say like right up here, because any place on Scorched Earth that has, let's see, if you press H, you'll be able to see where it says Central Dunes 100% wind. It's 127 degrees, so this place does generally tend to get a little bit hotter. But if you build next to these little bits of the high desert, these always have 100% wind. So if you were to build right up here on this little cliff face, this turbine right here has, the windmill right here does have 100% power going to it. So it will have a 100% uptime, so where you will always have power, which is absolutely phenomenal. Plus, also, there are water wells around here that you can get, or if you build a little bit closer over here, you can actually pipe water from over here, which it's a long pipe, and they do get ugly, and trust me, I do understand just how ugly long bits of pipe go, but there is standing water right there, plus metal that you can bring up to you. So if you were to like build right here, with the pipes behind you, a big base right here, plus also the 100% wind from over there, you have all of the best worlds just working for you completely. And that is located right here on the map, just off from the beginning area that I originally mentioned. But this is actually, this little section right here is my favorite place to build on the map, just because of how good this spot is. Like I said, there's 100% wind, there's fresh water right there, plus also you have access to these hills over here, right over there that have metal, crystal, obsidian, all sorts of stuff. They even have sulfur, which is definitely a thing that you're going to need on the map. And then over here next to this mesa up top, you have a readily available source of salt, which is definitely a thing you need to have on Scorched Earth. So yeah, this spot right here is absolutely my favorite spot. Now, either up there on that, or if you want to have a little bit easier of a time than up there, you can actually build right down here, right in between these, so where you have the high desert right there with the 100% wind, and also you have an easily accessible source right here. Or you can actually build right about here with it kind of coming down into the canyons where you have a nice cool area, so where you can craft stuff, and then you can also have your metal or your windmill that is piped a little bit from over here. Because remember, there's only so far that you could run the electrical cables before it just cuts out. But, yeah, you totally have enough room so where you could fit it right in between right here. And once again, this is located right here on the map. All right, now there are some places out here in the high desert which do seem kind of alluring. It's like this one right here, down here with the water well. Yeah, while you can build a base here, you are at the whim of the water well itself, which is, trust me, once you're actually kind of dependent on a water well, it does kind of suck because there's only so much water you can pull from it before it has to refresh. Which means that when it comes around to your higher end cooking, you're going to wish you built somewhere else. So while you can build here, I would recommend against it, unless if you have some sort of really awesome, cool idea that you're working on, which sometimes those are the best. They make the best bases. And if that's the case, by all means, go for it. I mean, those are great bases. But also, you do have to worry about death worms out here as well. And who likes being able to run right out of their base and get smacked by a death worm? Yeah, not that many people. All right, but then again, if that's your goal, go for it. It's just, yeah, if you're going to build out here, just know that you're setting yourself up for a really tough challenge. But yeah, it's going to be fun. And it's going to be exciting, but it's also going to have a lot of downsides in the long run. But then again, also sometimes those make the best bases. Just, yeah, keep an eye out for some of these oases that you're interested in, if that's your cup of tea. But for the most part, I would generally tend to stick within the craggy bits of the map. All right, and the final spot, and this one is quite a bit more advanced, but depending on your building skills, this is actually a really good spot, because if you build down below, down here, you're going to have non-stop problems. But on this rock, if you enjoy building on pillars or anything like that, like I said, this is one heck of a building challenge. But if you're up for the challenge, this is a great spot. I've always wanted to build here, just right up across here. I've never gotten around to it, but this is a fantastic spot just because of so much stuff. You're right over there is the easy access to Thylacolios. Right over here is a place that I like to call the Rex Triangle, which is absolutely phenomenal for getting any level Rex you possibly could want. So yeah. It is a fantastic spot, and this right here is located right here on the map. Yeah, every once in a while you do have to worry about wild wyverns, but then again, for the most part, unless if you're on the very first spot that I listed, you're generally not gonna, you're gonna have to worry about wild wyverns every once in a while. So yeah, anyway, that's gonna do it for my favorite base locations and what I consider to be the best base locations on the map for Scorched Earth. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, make sure you click that like button. I really appreciate it. If you're new around here, subscribe. And until next time, this is Phlinger Phoo, and take it easy, everybody.